had made a comment that she got blowback, a huge blowback, when she had pointed out that daycare was originally designed to be a last resort, as opposed to a lifestyle choice or just, the norm. And that's true. That is absolutely true. Daycares today are overcrowded and filled to the brim, and therefore are not able to produce in the way they were originally intended, which I assume was her point. There's a great book called The Irreducible Needs of Children by Dr. Stanley Greenspan. And he once said that the only way daycare could possibly be improved is for fewer parents to use it. Meaning that, again, because it was originally supposed to be a last resort, it had a fighting chance when there's fewer people using it. But once it becomes just open to anyone and everyone starts taking advantage of it, then all of a sudden the quality is going to obviously disappear.
Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Haраchachodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopeful elect. This video will just serve as a message to the people out there in the world who, just to let you know that when it comes to daycare, or even like the schooling system, especially the public school system, is designed to target your children, because in this society your children are a prey, and no, they do not have the best intent for your children. So this video was put up by Suzanne Vinegar, and she said, will America ever be ready for the truth about daycare? And she said at the beginning, and what she basically said at the beginning was the true origins of daycare. When it was originally started, it was as a last resort. You lived in different times where a one income household from the father was able to sustain the whole house, and the woman didn't have to work. And only they had daycare services perhaps for widows, or specific circumstance where you would have to seek another person's help to watch your child. Well, now this is actually normal. I mean, it's so normal that you have a lot of people complaining about the cost and how the cost is going up, and how people feel like they just can't get ahead in this life because they have to care about this. And a lot of people are spending a salary's worth on child care services. The average salary most people spend on daycare and child care, etc. And there's a lot of reasons you could say we got to that, but it all boils down to the wicked elite, the plan of the wicked elite, the wicked agenda. And it is that your children are a prey, your children are a target in this society. I have this clip here from Aaron Russo, and he's talking how he talked to Nick Rockefeller, another thing you have to realize, the Rockefeller Foundation started the public school system. And I have some quotes here from all these people who helped funded the public school system. And the bottom line is that they set that up in order to have access to your children and to counter your influence as a parent, and in hopes that they can stray them away from the Most High, from the Bible, from thinking on their own, from being creative, because they already did the math and they worked out that when you send your child to daycare every day, or when you send your children off to school every day, 5 days a week, the math works out to where they spend more hours in the presence of someone else than with you. So if you take a 9 to 5, for an example, if you drop your child off at school or daycare from a 9 to 5, by the time you get them, you spend at most maybe 3 hours with that child. And so the math adds up to where that person you're sending them off to has more time with them than you do yourself as a parent. So the wicked elite optimize that as a means to indoctrinate your children and to cause them to be destroyed mentally, and to turn their back on the Most High, and to turn their back on the scriptures. Because as long as they can stupefy and dumbify your children, then they will have less faith in the Most High. And faith is problematic in this new world order they're trying to establish. They need faith to be completely gone. right? So you're gonna find out that you're set up with the daycare and even the schooling system, all to your detriment. So here's what Aaron Russo had to say when he talked to Nick Rockefeller regarding feminism.
Is that he was at the house one night and we were talking and he started laughing. He said, Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I had pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. And I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote. You know? And he started to laugh. He said, you're an idiot. And I said, why am I an idiot? He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded Women's Lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before Women's Lib. And the second reason was now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. Because it breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for Women's Lib, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. You know, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble venture.
Yes. And this is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 27. It says, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. The spoil, in this case, the spoil is the women and children. But if the strong man is there, you can't spoil the women and children, because that's what that's his goal. And really his goal was always Adam. Take Adam out the way, and then now the women and children are free game to be conquered. That was always the mindset of the serpent. He always had his eyes set on the upright man and the upright household and the upright family to corrupt it. As Genesis chapter 3 says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have the power said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. And that's where death came into the world. But this is that's why this chapter is so impactful. Most people don't understand how important this chapter is. And the serpent did his thing again. The serpent being Esau, Edom, right? The seed of the wicked, and showing you that in order to get to the man, to get Adam to sin, which Adam represents the righteous man, the Israelite man, he used a woman to do so. And what he basically did was took the power from the man to have control over his family, and instead shifted the power to the woman. And then thus she's now exposed, and now the children are free game. The women and children are free game to be indoctrinated, because that the man is the hedge of the family. The book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 25 says, where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled. A hedge is a protection. The hedge guards the garden, guards the protection, guards what is protecting. The strong man protects the home, which represents the power and the leadership and the influence of the man, of a father, of a righteous man. You must first bind the strong man, and then you can spoil his goods. Then the women and children are free game. That's what feminism ultimately trickled down to. Even abortions, all these things can all be found in the scriptures, the evil motivations and the intent behind it. It was just Genesis chapter 3 done all over again, right? We need to destroy the family. We need to destroy the household. In order to do that, we must undermine the importance of that man in the household. We must take the man and his importance out of the household. And that's what feminism was about. That's what abortions is all about. Women's lives movement. That's what it's all about. And only now people are starting to realize that they've been tricked and duped. And you have people now who's complaining about how they can't afford childcare, daycare. Well, guess what? There was really no. The daycare was originally set up as a last resort. It was the way that it was set up originally was a good system that works. The man goes out and work. One income is able to supply for the whole household. The woman does her job of being a homemaker, help raise the kids, and that brings sustainability. That brings a strong, you could say, village. And the devil came and he said, it's time to overthrow all that. So now we push the women, have them think about going out and working is empowering. Now we can tax half the population. And now since both parties are working, the children are left to be sent into the care of someone else. And then since we can do that, now we can control what it is that those children learn. And I'm going to read you some quotes from people who helped start the schooling foundation. The book of Isaiah chapter 5, verse 5. This is talking about the nation of Israel. It says, now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the walls thereof, and it shall be trodden down. So that's what the Lord did as a punishment to the Israelites for us disobeying his commandments. He said, I'm going to take away your hedge. I'm going to take away your protection. And now you're completely exposed, and you're going to be eaten up and trodden and broken down. Whereas that hedge that's originally there was designed as a protection, as a strong wall of defense from the possession from the goods. And the husband is the protection. Read that again, Sirach 25. Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled. So the possession, the goods are what? The women and children, especially the children. And the plan of the wicked elite is to target the children, to indoctrinate the children, so now that they can be a victim and indoctrinated according to their will, because they've officially undermined the power and the influence of the father. And, and let's just say you do have a two-parent household, they getting along, but both of them working and they still got to send their children off to some type of daycare or even public school, right? Well, even then, that's still a battle, because the devil is making it to where at any possibility he has control over the situation and your children, because the goal is to target the children, because the children is going to be the next generation to really just be a slave in this new world order that they want. And in order for that to work, they have to be incapable of critical thinking. They have to turn their back on the Most High. They have to turn their back on faith. That's what it all boils down to ultimately. They ain't not gonna have no skills. They barely gonna know how to read or write. They're gonna be dumbified, which is what they want. But above all, they want them to turn their back on the Most High, because faith cannot be allowed to flourish in these times that they're about to push. So this is from Horace Mann. He said, we who are engaged in sacred cause of education are entitled to look upon all parents as giving hostages to our cause. John Dewey says, if public schools can keep the children occupied throughout the day with sports and after school and homework in the evening, the parents will have less than an hour a day with their children, and the families and the Christian church's influence over them could be broken in about a generation. John Dewey also said, there is no God and there is no soul. Hence, there is no need for the props of traditional religion. With dogma and creed excluded, then immutable truth is dead and buried. There is no room for fixed and natural law or permanent moral absolutes. H.L. Mencken also said, the aim of public education is not to spread enlightenment at all. It is simply to reduce as many individuals as possible to the same safe level, to breed and to breed a standard citizenry, to put down dissent and originality. And then John Gittleeb Fitt said, education should aim at destroying free will so that after pupils are thus schooled, they will be incapable throughout the rest of their lives of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. All individuals responsible for the pushing of the public school system at the origins of it, showing you what the goal is slavery. They want your children to be in slavery. And everything trickles down to it. Feminism trickles down to it. Daycare, childcare, women's liberation, all these things, all targeting, all started by what? Binding the strong man. So that now the goods are free reign. Now the women and children are free reign by passing unjust decrees to bind the man. Isaiah chapter 10, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. So child support, marriage, all of those things that you think, or a lot of you people think are good, all have an evil, wicked intent to the sole purpose of destroying the family and making your children vulnerable to become indoctrinated and controlled by the state. As long as you two are fighting, the children are going to suffer for it, and which makes room for the serpent to sneak in there, indoctrinate your children, to turn their back on the Most High. And this is what you see now. All of it goes back to this. This is how they think. And the devil knew that the nature of the woman, how if I'm saying it right, vindictive that she is, and how feeble and how sensitive, easily changed, how they are. If they shift the power into their hands, they can easily get them to comply with this demand. Because if a woman's mad, she ain't give a damn about nothing you saying. She'll ruin everything just to either get back at you, or, even if she's hurting the children, she, all these things that'll help destroy the family. That's what he did by what? Binding the strong man, taking the man out the picture, taking his influence out the picture. Psalm 64, verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. There is a secret counsel. It's the wicked. And they're telling you your plan to your face, and it all has worked. This is where we get to. This is where you could trace the origins back to. There wasn't supposed to be no such thing as, you paying that much money for some child care and all this other stuff. Like I said, they got it so set up now to where two people, chances are, they have to work, which means they have to send their child to a school or whatever it is, and then you working overtime to make sure that your child is learning something beneficial versus trying to indoctrinate them with what? The LGBT. Why you think the LGBT, their target is what? Elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. They're targeting your children, putting you more of a strain, because now you're like, I don't want my children learning that. But then what do? I have to work. She has to work. We don't know what to do. It's all according to the plan of the wicked elite. This is the plan. This is their secret counsel, who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. And who's the perfect? Ultimately, the Israelite family, the Israelite man, the righteous man. Take him out of the picture. Just like the serpent wanted Adam to fall. But how was he going to get Adam to fall? He was observing Adam. How can I corrupt him? I can't go straight to him to convince him because he fears the Lord. He has faith. It won't work. What I can do is use his woman to cause him to fall. And now I've succeeded in my plan because now death has come into the world. And now if you fast forward to today, we will take the upright man out, eliminate the man out the way. With these unjust laws, unjust decrees, we'll push feminism, right? All these things will help ensure that that righteous man is no more and that faith is not existent in the earth. So when we set up public schools, we need to be able to indoctrinate them what we want them to learn. And they need to learn evil. They need to learn about masturbation. They need to learn about being gay. They need to learn about transgenderism. They need to learn about all these things so we can ensure that faith is out of the earth. And all we had to do is bind the strong man. This is how important that Genesis chapter 3 is. Psalms 37:14, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, to slay such as be of upright conversation. So the target is always the righteous. The target, that's what your women gonna realize, the target was always the man and the target was always your children. You were just used to bring about the plan. This is what we're here today. In fact, the brother just shared, I think this morning, California, right?
California, which just became the first state to ban school districts from notifying parents whose kids are identifying as a different gender. So, if a little boy in, say, Orange County tells his teachers that he now wants to be called Michelle rather than Michael and identifies and dresses like a girl while he's at school, the teachers and staff are forbidden from informing his parents unless they first have the child's permission. California's Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom, who's been talked about as a potential replacement for Joe Biden, just signed this madness into law. Its political leadership is turning the state up.
All according to the plan of the wicked elite. Right? That's why if you have children and your children are grown, you are blessed. Right? And if you don't have children, you're blessed. And if you do have children, you're blessed. But this is what you have to deal with. The plan of the wicked elite. You see what I'm saying? So you should, if you were ignorant to it now, you should know by now that this is all according to the plan of the wicked agenda. The goals, your children. Everything can be found in the scriptures. It's the same spirit of that serpent. You women were just used to bring about this destruction. That empowerment, feminism, all that is just a trap. They played on your mind. They don't actually care about you. They just wanted you to basically take the hedge away. Yeah, take the hedge away so now we can get to your kids. Oh yeah, and then we combine that strong man on top of it. We can make it so incredibly hard for any righteous family to survive in our world, and we can't have access to those children, because if we can turn your children gay, they're going to turn their back on the Most High. They're going to be destroyed mentally. Have you ever seen a LGBT who condemns America? You can't do it. It's a contradiction, because at the end of the day, you love the society for allowing you to be and live that wicked lifestyle. So the only person you're going to condemn is the Most High. You're going to condemn the Bible, which is exactly what they want, right? So hopefully your eyes should be open now. This is the plan of the wicked elite. Okay? Shalom.